What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly Tokyo Ghoul chapter review. As I promised yesterday, I would be making a review of Tokyo Ghoul. I'm sorry it's a little bit later than I said, but it is better late than never. I think you can all agree. So, I gotta say, I'm very happy many of you were glad to see the reviews back last week. It really shows that many of you care about these videos, and it truly makes me happy. It put a smile on my face to know how much you truly all care. So, I want to make this once again, or try to make this once again, a regular thing. And so, thank you very much last week, everybody, that, said they really enjoyed these type of videos. They liked the live reactions, but they also want to see, an analysis. It truly does make me happy. So, I just want to say shout out to all of you that left comments and stuff last week. It meant a lot. So, thank you. I want to offer my sincere thanks to all of you that tuned in last week. So, let's start off, as always, with the first page. I said I was going to start with this. I wanted to talk about this because when I did my live reaction yesterday, I was looking at the, the cover page, and if you know anything about Tokyo Ghoul, and you know anything about a rope, and a noose, that's the Hanged Man. And when I saw this, I'm like, yo, Ashita. We know Kaneki, he's represented the Hangman multiple times throughout Tokyo Ghoul, but once again, seeing this, but also connected to Furuta, it just brings up a whole lot. You're like, holy crap. So, just right in your face, right when the chapter starts, symbolism and meaning with this, with the Hanged Man. So, I've covered this many times in the past. I've covered what the Hangman means, but I want to go over it once again and talk about certain meaning about it that actually represents what's going on here between Kaneki and Furuta. So there's a little bit more information, but overall though, if you kind of understand the meaning of the Hangman, this is probably something you already know, but I want to read the part about the Hangman for anyone that doesn't know. I'll have the link in the description if you want to read the entirety of the paragraphs and stuff of the Hangman reversed and upside position. So if you want to see all to do with this tarot card, the link is in the description. You can check it for yourself. So let's read, the first part, the actual meaning and description of the card that Kaneki and Furuta got. The Hangman shows a man suspended upside down from the living world tree. Rooted in the underworld would represent, how the ghouls are in the underworld. They're constantly having to hide from CCG. And supporting the heavens. For instance, the ghouls right now, a part of One-Eye King, they're living in the underworld, and they're now supporting the heavens, which is to break the birdcage. Given the serene expression on his face, the person with the Hangman, the serene expression, I guess you could say, would go towards Kaneki in this instance, because if you look at Kaneki, he shows a face that's very serene. It's very calm. It doesn't seem like he has much emphasis on his emotions. It doesn't seem like he's worried or anything like that or nervous. He just has a very calm face on him. So the meaning of this right here where it says, like, given this serene expression on his face, it is believed he is hanging on the tree of his own will. So what this would mean is Kaneki is the one hanging from the tree with his own will. He's not forcibly trying to fight against not hanging from the tree. He's allowing himself to hang from the tree. His right foot is bound to the tree, but his left foot remains free, bent at the knee and tucked in behind his right leg. So that's the quick little meaning that represents Kaneki, how he, at this time, he has a very serene expression on his face. He's someone that is not trying to fight against the Hangman. He's someone that is willingly hanging from the tree. Now, let's go to Furuta's meaning of this card when it comes to the cover page. So, the Hangman reverse suggests a loss of faith in your ability to surmount life's obstacles. You may be refusing to go within for spiritual nourishment. It is very important at this time to look within through meditation and restore your faith in your ability to get over life's challenges. Know that this difficult time will soon pass and accept your circumstances and be at peace with yourself. Alternately, you may be preoccupied with yourself, we know Furuta, he cares about himself, and unwilling to make a necessary sacrifice or compromise for the greater good. Now, we have known when it comes to Tokyo Ghoul, when you can't make a decision, usually that leads in people making decisions for you, and leads into some very bad options. You may be acting in a selfish or even arrogant manner and significantly disengaging others who are trying to work cooperatively with you. So, what this means is that this perfectly represents Furuta's character, kind of. He's someone that shows to be very arrogant, he's very selfish, and he doesn't really cooperate well with people because he puts on a face and persona. And so you clearly see right here how this man is constantly doing different things that are rather shady, that goes along with the reversed hangman meaning that Furuta got in this chapter. So that's a quick little meaning behind the hangman. I didn't go completely in-depth with that because overall, I feel like many kind of understand what the hangman means because I've covered it multiple times throughout my videos. So I just quickly got the message across kind of what this, cover page means. Another way I look at it too, if you look at the rope that's around Kaneki's neck and Furuta's neck, and the rope, goes between them straight down their chest, it's kind of like their fate is connected. It's kind of like, the lines of fate, if you've ever heard something like that, the saying, to where you have the lines of fate connecting all of you. That's kind of what this means. Kaneki and Furuta, even if they're on the opposite side of the battlefield, even though one's the Black King and one is the White King, they each are connected by fate, because they will eventually one day have to encounter each other and either kill each other, one of them is going to die, or they might come to a mutual understanding. One or the other is going to happen. But at this time, though, with this cover page, it represents the hangman, it represents how these two are connected, and it also represents how opposite they are right now with their state of their mind. Their mind is completely different from one another, and so this represents both sides and the leadership of both sides for the Washus, or CCG, and then the Ghouls, the One-Eyed King. So I like how Ishida did that. I liked how he started off this chapter representing the two different kings and how different but similar they are. Now, moving on to the next part of the chapter, we get into the convo with Furuta and Kaneki. Now, overall, I feel like this video might be a little bit shorter than normal, actually, because this chapter is very simplistic, and the big portion I want to talk about actually is Furuta and him as a character and what he really represents in terms of Tokyo Ghoul. I've talked about Furuta multiple times in the past, and I think I've covered him overall from everything we've learned pretty well, but I don't feel like it's going to take a whole long time, like, 40 minutes to talk about one character. So if this video is a little bit shorter than normal, please forgive me. But getting back on topic though, Furuta, as I've said many times, he's a mysterious character, and we're constantly questioning what this man is. What does he stand for? Why does he do the things he does? Why is he a part of clowns? I mean, why does he want the One-Eyed King? Why did he get salty when Eto was trying to talk about him and his family connection with the Washu clan? I mean, there's just so many things about Furuta we don't understand, and there's so many emotions he shows that we don't understand if that's truly him showing those emotions, or if he's putting on facial expressions because he's a good actor. And that's the big thing about his character. He is someone that is a clown. He is someone that's a part of the Washus. He's someone that's a CCG agent. He's someone that is a half-ghoul, like half-human, like Arima. He has so many connections in different worlds of Tokyo Ghoul that you don't really know who he really represents. And at the end of the day, as we've all kind of concluded, Furuta most likely is on his own side. He is someone that represents his own self. He is someone that's not on any side. He's for his own personal and selfish desires. But the question was, or is still to this day, what does this man desire? And with this chapter, we kind of get a little bit of an insight to what he does desire, but I feel like there is more to it than that. But the big thing was, though, about this chapter was negotiations between the two kings, but also what type of mentality both of these two have and what they'll bring to the table and how they could actually interact with each other in the future. So, Furuta and Kaneki, they kind of have a normal conversation for two people to be on the opposite side of the table. For instance, they're both enemies. One's, CCG's leader, one's the Ghoul leader, and obviously they should want to slit each other's throats, but they have a very normal conversation. You don't really see anything to where it'll ramp up into a fight to where they'll start beating the shit out of each other. You don't sense that throughout the entire combo. You do sense the snarky and just the asshole comments from Furuta throughout the entire combo, but overall, though, you don't sense anything that will lead into a fight. So we don't really know at this time if Furuta wants to fight Kaneki or not. We know he's trying to frame Kaneki. We know he's using V to set him up. We know this type of stuff. But Furuta's had many times in the past to fuck over Kaneki, because Furuta knows very well who Kaneki was the entire time. time. He knows his connection to what he had to the grand scheme of things. And I mean, as someone that, you know, has dabbled in everything with Dr. Kano, to Arima, CCG, V, and all of this, he knows what type of person or how Kaneki would react when he finally remembered everything. And, you know, that fight that, you know, Furuta had with Kaneki in the past when Hinami was there, we know Furuta could have went all out, but he didn't. He didn't really completely try, because we saw what he did against Eto, which was completely like, what the fuck? So, overall, Furuta hasn't really shown any signs throughout the series that he wants to legit kill Kaneki. I mean, he might want to set him up, he might want to do some crusty shit to him and, you know, frame him, but overall, I don't feel like Furuta wants to dirty his hands or personally kill Kaneki at this time. Maybe there's other reasons for it. So, getting into it, we have this. He talks to him and he's like, "You're quite the busy person these days, aren't you?" And he's like, and then you have Kaneki's like, "Might I ask who currently leads the CCG?" And he pretty much goes into depth with saying, like, what's going on right now after the slaughtering of the Washu family, which was like, it was blamed on you, Heise, Sasuke, or should I say Kaneki Kin. You took the blame for all the Washu's deaths. That would mean that V wants to hunt you down, Washu's wants to hunt you down, you know, all the CCG agents want to hunt you down. You're pretty much public enemy #1 right now. You're the most wanted, and yes, I know you're not the one that did it, but I framed you because I made the clowns do it in a way that made it look like something you would do, or at least by a ghoul. So Furuta framed Kaneki, and he knows it, and he's talking to Kaneki about it, and Kaneki understands who really did it. He knows that Furuta is the one that set him up and tried to make it look like he was the one that was doing the shady and evil shit behind the scenes. And the way Kaneki's reaction was overall, it was very passive. It wasn't something that necessarily seemed to be like a mean comment towards Furuta. He's like, okay, so you really were behind it. It's like Kaneki already knew what Furuta was doing. He kind of understood him, and at the same time, though, he just wanted to completely confirm it just to make sure. And I feel like, once again, this represents the beginning of the chapter, with, you know, these two being connected by fate, the lines of fate. They are very different in terms of their mindset, but at the same time, though, they could possibly understand each other since they're very kindred spirits. And so, right now, I feel like Kaneki understands kind of what he is thinking and what he's trying to do, and he just wanted to make sure and confirm to see if Furuta really was doing it. Now, he's like, all I wanted was a conversation with the Washu family that sits atop the CCG. Now, the reason why Kaneki wanted a conversation, as we know, is because he wanted to finally force the hand of the Washu/V to realize what is going on and how broken this world is, and they need to stop burning every bridge that is getting built. And as I've said already in my live reactions, is that Kaneki is that new bridge. He is the bridge that is being built for ghouls and humans to finally come together. It's been building up since the very beginning of Tokyo Ghoul. It's slowly been growing and growing, and Kaneki right now is that bridge that's about to try to be burnt by V. V is trying to burn down that bridge, and CCG is as well. And Kaneki is standing tall, making sure that bridge does not break. And the reason why he wanted to talk to CCG/Washus is because if he could kind of make them see what is going on, or see the difference between that not all ghouls are bad, ghouls are people too, he would realize that maybe there could be a mutual understanding. And as I've said many times, the main thing that ghouls need is RC cells. They don't need food. They don't need to kill humans necessarily. They need just RC cells. So if there could be some form of, like, you know, way to extract RC cells and give it to ghouls, I mean, there could be, you know, understanding and mutual relationship between ghouls and humans. So I feel like right now what Kaneki's trying to do is to emphasize that there could be understanding to where humans don't need to die and ghouls don't need to die as well. So that's why he wanted to talk to him. But as we know, the Washus are set in their old ideals and their, you know, honor, pride, or whatever. You know how old families are. And I feel like that would have been very hard to do. Kaneki wouldn't have probably ever been able to talk to the Washus or V, because they probably would have all died before they ever decided to change their ideals and goals that they set out to do since a very long time ago. So in a way, what Furuta did, he actually helped out Kaneki. I mean, he kind of did. If you really do think about it, Furuta helped out Kaneki because with killing all the Washus and killing some V members, it makes it where it's a lot easier for Kaneki to be able to talk to people or see some of the things. I mean, right now Kaneki's getting framed. He's getting framed for what Furuta is doing because, you know, the different wards and stuff are being attacked. the Washus were killed, and it makes it look like Kaneki was doing it. But overall, though, in the bigger picture, Furuta actually did help out Kaneki, because, I mean, if there's someone else that finally leads besides Furuta, maybe they can actually see the light and understand what is truly going on here. And I mean, Furuta is bound to make mistakes eventually. He's bound to be someone that will make a mistake, and maybe someone will realize what is going on here. I mean, not everyone is perfect. Kaneki has shown throughout the entirety of Tokyo Ghoul that he is not a perfect person. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's realized he's made a lot of mistakes. He's tried to correct himself for the better. And so we've seen a lot of flaws with characters throughout the journey of Tokyo Ghoul. And even though Furuta is shown to be a master manipulator, he's someone that is very smart. He's someone that constantly puts on these different masks, hides his emotions. I mean, all these different things throughout Tokyo Ghoul. He's bound to slip up one day. And I feel like it's going to come down to Rize as to why he slips up in the first place, because of the emotions he showed in this chapter. Now, moving into the next segment, let's talk about how this man has an idea. He talks to Kaneki and says, I have an idea. Why don't you take all the blame and disappear? You who slaughtered the Washu family, who rules the ghouls with the iron fist of terror, and slaughter. You, the one-eyed king. So what Furuta's trying to say is that, Kaneki, I have a good idea. Why don't you, okay, me and you, we both know what really happened. You know I'm the one that killed the Washus. You know I'm the one that's going to cause some very heinous shit in the future. But why don't you, since you're, you know, public enemy number one, everybody knows you're public enemy number one, why don't you continue to be the one-eyed king? Why don't you continue to take all the blame for everything and make humans and ghouls alike hate you? And once both sides hate you, both species will work together to take down the ultimate evil, which is you, the one-eyed king. What do you say? I mean, you could be that martyr. You could be the someone that bridges the gap. You're the bridge. I mean, I'm burning the bridge down, but before the bridge burns, you're technically making the species coexist. That's kind of what Furuta is saying. Is like, think about it. You're deaf, and you doing these evil things will allow you to accomplish what you want to do. But at the same time, I will achieve the world I want as well. So Furuta is like saying, I'll help you out, but not in the way you want to be helped out. I'll just make it to where you're a piece of shit and everybody hates you. And I like that because it shows that Furuta, he's not completely against Kaneki, but he's going out in his own way to do certain things to make Kaneki look bad to accomplish his own goals. But another thing, too, I want to talk about is about how Furuta wanted to know who the One-Eyed King was. Remember, one of the big goals that Furuta wanted throughout the journey of Tokyo Ghoul Re is to figure out who the One-Eyed King was. He went so far to ask Eto who the One-Eyed King was, constantly. He went out of his way to join the clowns because he wanted to know if the clowns knew anything about the One-Eyed King. They didn't as well. And so overall, Furuta never found out who the One-Eyed King was. But now that he knows who the One-Eyed King is, it's kind of like he's setting into what he wanted to do with the One-Eyed King. He probably wanted to use the One-Eyed King as a name to take all the blame for whatever type of shit he would do in the future. For instance, killing his family off. Maybe that is why Furuta wanted to find the One-Eyed King. He wanted to blame the One-Eyed King for killing the family, because then it would free him from his shackles of things he dislikes about his family, and he could finally have the person he wants, Rize. So I feel like that's kind of why, one of his goals that he wanted. He wanted the One-Eyed King for that. Now, besides all of that, besides his acting that Furuta is doing, let's talk about Kaneki and Furuta's dialogue about how Kaneki had a steel girder thrown on top of him. Now, this has been a topic of debate for a very long time. I've discussed this multiple times. I've been very curious to finally see this tackled between these two characters, because if you think about everything that has happened throughout Tokyo Ghoul to Kaneki, every miserable thing that has happened to Kaneki, besides, you know, his parents, you know, abusing him, or his mother abusing him, everything that's happened after that when he became a ghoul, it's been thanks to Furuta. Furuta has fucked Kaneki's life quite a bit. Like, he's fucked this man up a lot. And in a way, Furuta has hurt Kaneki more than anyone else in the entirety of his existence, but also he has helped Kaneki more than everyone else in his existence. And you're probably thinking, like, what the fuck are you saying, Chibi? Like, this man made Kaneki get tortured by Jason. What in the fuck are you talking about? Well, think about this, okay? Yes, we can see all the bad. Yes, we can see Kaneki has went through a hell of a lot of shit throughout Tokyo Ghoul. And this man, he's been through hell. Oh, he's been through a lot of hell. But at the same time, we have to remember the good times, the happy times as well. Not everything has been shit. There's been some moments throughout Tokyo Ghoul where Kaneki has been kind of happy, and he's in this state right now where he's at. You can see he's a little bit happier than he once was. He actually shows smile. He finally has accepted who he is. He finally has a reason to live. Yes, he's kind of being a martyr overall, but he still has a reason to live. He doesn't completely want to die, and he's not going to take his, selfish things to where he doesn't care about himself too far anymore. And I mean, this is the type of character that has actually finally found his true self and accept everything that's happened in the past. He's finally come to terms with everything that has happened. He's found peace with himself and everything around him. And it's thanks to Furuta as to why this happened. Yes, Arima helped him realize, Toka made him realize, Eto made him realize, all these different characters helped Kaneki see it, but Sota is what set it in motion to begin with. He is the one that initiated everything at the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul. And so maybe Kaneki views the situation on the fence. He sees Furuta as someone that is an asshole, but at the same time he is someone that has saved Kaneki in more ways than he can count. So I feel like that's maybe why Kaneki, he just opens up, or he's just talking to this man in a very passive expression, because he actually is kind of showing respect to Furuta. Even though he's an asshole and he's done some evil shit, he's still respecting Furuta in a way because of who he is and what he did for Kaneki. So I like that. I feel like that's kind of what that means. But the next scene to talk about too is the scene with this one panel, which I kind of neglected to talk about a couple pages back, but I want to talk about it here. When Furuta is talking about how you want to be the martyr, like you should be the one that, represents the One-Eyed King that makes ghouls and humans alike hate you. You see it to where Furuta walks up to Kaneki and puts his hand around his throat. Now, if you look at this closely, and you know how Ashida does his symbolism of meaning with his certain, images and panels, it looks like a noose, once again. You see it looks like a rope. If you interpret it like how the cover page is, it looks like a rope around Kaneki's throat, and, the arm is the rope going down his chest. That's kind of what it looks like when you see Furuta grabbing Kaneki by the throat, and Kaneki doesn't really even care. You see how he just looks over at him, he doesn't seem worried at all, and then Furuta whispers in his ear, and nothing really happens after that. Furuta just lets go of his throat. And I feel like the way that meant in this panel, it also goes back once again to the hangman, the reversed hangman that represents Furuta, but also these two's connection with the hangman because of the way Furuta grabbed his throat and it looks like a part of the noose. So, enough of that. Let me move on to the next segment. So, Rize, or the beginning of everything. What I like about this is that when Kaneki asks why did you drop the steel beam? Like, why did the steel girder fall on top of Rize and me? Did you do it to me? Why me of all people? Why did you do it against me? And then Furuta automatically, as soon as that happens, he busts out laughing. He's completely laughing. His face is emphasized to show just maniacal laughter. We don't know if this laughing is truly him laughing, or if he's laughing at how funny it is because Kaneki thinks it was all about him, or if he's laughing because Kaneki actually hit the nail on the head. But whatever it may be, Furuta goes to mock Kaneki, and he's like, oh, you weren't the one of why I did it. You're a bit self-centered, aren't you? Thinking the world revolves around you, thinking the reason why the steel beam hit you in the first place and why you became all this, the One-Eyed King to half ghoul, and you have so much power now. You think I did it because I wanted to do it to you? No. I did it because I wanted Rize. And I don't know how to really feel about that reasoning. I mean, I believe we're just telling somewhat the truth here, but I feel like there's more to it because of one main thing. Let's look at the dialogue that Furuta says, okay? Furuta goes out of his way to say that he loves Rize. He truly loves Rize. He cares for her. He dreams of marrying her. And he makes it very clear to Kaneki, this is kind of what drove some of his actions throughout the series, was thanks to Rize. And he is the reason why Rize was even able to escape the first place from the Sunlit Garden and the Washu clan. So he set in motion a lot of things. Furuta wasn't even the one that started the stuff at Part 1 Tokyo Ghoul. For instance, he caused Kaneki to become a ghoul, but Furuta is also the person that set in motion every evil deed that Rize caused throughout the series. When Rize was going out of her way eating people, to her connection to Shachi and all that, it was thanks to Furuta that caused this in the first place. So, with this chapter, we found out that Furuta has not just started Tokyo Ghoul Part 1, but he also set in motion things that predate Part 1 Tokyo Ghoul, which pertain to Rize. So this man is truly the master manipulator, the main in-game boss. For him to manipulate so much and set in motion so many things throughout the series, it's just absolutely mind-blowing. But getting back on topic, though, this man, throughout the chapter, shows a lot of his actions have been done to help her. And I feel like when he says, that's why I helped her escape, because I loved her, I feel like this is probably one of the first few times we've actually seen her to truly be honest. And I feel like that was really him trying to be honest with himself and to Kaneki. The reason why I helped her escape is because I loved her. I loved her a lot. And after he freed her, he realized after countless years of her being free, she didn't really even care. She didn't even pain her and all that. She paid no heed to Furuta. She went out of her way and just went eating people, going on a binging spree of eating a bunch of humans, and she didn't care anymore. She gained her freedom, and she was just having fun with her life. And it pained Furuta because, you know, she didn't show any, you know, I guess, vision or thought for him, and I mean, he thought eventually she was just going to celebrate her freedom by eventually getting pregnant, and he would be pissed off because then he would no longer be able to have Rize for himself. So he got very worried, and you see the stress, like how he's kind of sweating a little bit, and so to stop that, he decided to throw a steel girder on top of Rize. And then he trapped her with Dr. Kano. So, what this shows is that Furuta, for one, he's a very jealous individual. He is someone that wanted Rize for himself. He did not want anyone else to have her. Now, let's go back a couple of pages again, okay? Remember when Kaneki says, why me of all people? Like, why did you do it to me? And then, you know, Furuta started laughing his ass off, and he's like, oh my, you're self-centered, it wasn't because of you. In reality, I think it was. I mean, I feel like Furuta did it because of Rize, because he wanted Rize for himself, but I feel like he hated Kaneki because Kaneki was about to spend a lot of time with Rize, and if Rize wouldn't have ate him, you would have had it to where Kaneki and her would have had a relationship, and maybe because he's a jealous individual and he wanted Rize for himself, he's very, very possessive over her. That's why he initiated that in the first place. Maybe he would have waited a couple more days or whatever, but maybe the reason why he did it right then and there was because of Kaneki's being there. But regardless though, Furuta shows that everything he has done throughout the series, or at the very least initiating part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul, was thanks to his jealousy towards Rize and wanting to have her all to himself. And then he throws his steel girder on her. So, what we can assume here is that this man, he is committed all these evil deeds over a woman. Like, that shit, I don't even know where to begin, because think about this for a second, okay? Just think about how funny or ironic this is. Think about the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul, okay? Go back to the first chapter. The first fucking chapter, okay? Kaneki, he had a crush on Rize. He had a crush on Rize. He was falling in love with her. Like, he liked her. And the reason why he wanted to meet up with her in the first place was because he had a crush on her. He wanted to get closer to her, and eventually they could discuss things. And, you know, he wanted Rize. He wanted her as a girlfriend. We know that. So he wanted to impregnate, let's say, in Furuta's words, he wanted to impregnate Rize, okay? In Furuta's words. And it's funny when you think that both characters, they got all this shit done to them, or Kaneki had this shit done to him thanks to Rize and wanting to be with her, but also because of a man that loved Rize too. It's funny when you think about all the stuff that's happened in Tokyo Ghoul kind of wraps around one girl that both characters kind of loved, or loved, and that's funny. That's pretty fucking funny. It really is. It's like a tragic love story. So, let's get into the next thing. Kaneki asks, I see, but all of this just for that? You're telling me everything you've done to me Everything you've done to your family, CCG, the clowns, Eto, everything you've done for that? Because you want Rize to impregnate her, to marry her? Like, are you serious? You've done all of this evil shit for that. And Kaneki, he just seems like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Or maybe he's just like, there has to be more here. Like, there's something going on. And Furuta's like, there is no real need to have a reason to do things. People who can't act without a reason are trash. I will do what I want. I mean, I've got this precious life and everything. Might as well make the best of it, right? So, this is at the moment when I realized how different Furuta was. He has constantly been a mystery. And now with this, I truly understand what type of person Furuta is. He is as close to a human being as you possibly can get. You're probably like, what in the fuck are you talking about? Human beings do a lot of things, evil and heinous shit throughout the world without reason. For things that are just irrational. There's many things you could look throughout history where people do things that are just outright fucking stupid. You like, why would you do something like that evil or just do something that good for something like that, for that type of meaning? Like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. There's like no reason for you to do these type of things. This has happened throughout history, and this also happens normally for human beings in general. Us human beings in real life, we commit acts and deeds day-to-day basis depending on what happens that don't make sense at all. They don't. Sometimes you go against your better judgment and you do something, or sometimes you just do something that goes against your character, or just there's many things. Human beings in general do things that just don't make sense, and sometimes you just don't have a reason to do them. And with Furuta saying this, it's kind of like he's stating, I'm just a normal person. I'm doing things what a normal person would do. I mean, I do what I want to do. I mean, think about this, okay? Just think about this. When you have a choice in the morning, okay? Let's just say you're a type of individual that has a choice to either get up out of bed in the morning and go to school or go to work, or just stay in bed because you just don't give a shit, okay? That's your choice. That's a choice you've been given. And let's just say you decide to lay in bed, even though it's your final time. Like, if you were to miss work or miss school, let's say you'll be sent to juvie, or you'll be, you'll lose your job. Let's just say one or the other would happen, okay? You did that and you made your own choice because you wanted to choose it. You did something that was very irrational, something that didn't make any sense because you did what you wanted to do. You did it because you thought you wanted to do it. It's like this. When you have an option, do I want to watch a live action movie or do I want to play a game? And you say, you know what? I want to fucking play a game. I just want to sit and play a game. And there's really no reason to do it, but you play it anyways. That's kind of how a human being is. We do things because we want to do it. You do what you want to do. That's how we all operate. I mean, I'm sitting down making and talking about Tokyo Ghoul right now because I want to do it. I enjoy doing it. And that's kind of what Furuta is saying. He enjoys what he does. He has fun with what he does. I do what I want to do. I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't really need a reason to do all these evil actions. It's because I just want to do it. So, the character Furuta, he's a human. He is someone as close to a human being as possible. He makes so much sense. For someone that doesn't really have a necessary reason, he does have a reason, because he's a human. So, Shida. Yeah. Good job. Now, next thing, too, I want to compare Furuta to a character, which a couple of Chibits already mentioned it, but I got my thoughts on this as well. But, Furuta is extremely like the Joker. Extremely like the Joker. Like, let me read a quick summary of the Joker's mentality, okay? Let me just read a quick summary for you about the Joker, and then apply this to Furuta, okay? Let me read this for you. The Joker is clearly not an accurate example of a criminally insane psychopath. He's a completely aware, yet an unreliable source of information about his own past. Furuta. It may be that he is a hyper sane and has no fixed identity. but rather reinvents himself daily as his need requires, to feed his view of reality. He was a man of great intelligence, driven by misfortune of his own creation and lost into a state of mad genius. As the Joker says when he allows himself a moment of clarity, sometimes I remember it one way, and sometimes another. If I have to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice. So, tell me right now that does not sound like Furuta. Yes, there's little things different with that, but you're not gonna tell me that Furuta does not sound like the fucking Joker. You're not gonna tell me he does not sound like that. Am I seeing a character that legit, maybe Furuta is inspired off of Joker? Is that what, Ishida Sensei's trying to imply here? I don't know. Look, I'm not completely familiar with Joker all around. Like, I haven't read the comics, but I know enough about Joker and what type of character he is. And just seeing this right here, it makes you start thinking, like, holy shit. Furuta is very similar to the Joker, just his overall how he reinvents himself and changes his view and feeds everybody different viewpoints of who he is. I mean, look at how he operated when he went into the CCG meeting. He acted like someone very passive, someone that didn't really know what he was doing. He just seemed like a weak investigator. And then how he acted towards Kaneki, he was swapping between views multiple times throughout their dialogue. Like, he seemed like someone that's very happy-go-lucky, and then he turns into someone very, like insane, where he's like 101 Dalmatian style. I mean, the man just completely evil, the way he acts and the way he swaps back and forth. And so, clearly, Ishida might have been inspired by Joker. I feel like he was. I really feel like he was when he wrote Furuta, just because of that alone. So anyways, moving on to the next thing, let's talk about Furuta wanting to mate with Rize. 101 Dalmatian style. I've already kind of covered how the 101 Dalmatian goes to get with the chapter number. It's chapter 101 of Tokyo Ghoul. So 101 Dalmatian style, it pretty much references the chapter title. And it makes me kind of laugh, because Ishida has been waiting 101 fucking chapters just to write that. That man was waiting 101 chapters just to write this crusty shit with Furuta. For a fact that man was. So that is just very funny how, Ishida Sensei would go that far just for a joke like that. A very dark joke indeed, but damn. So Furuta says he wants Rize to bear a bunch of his children. I think he wants to do it. I'm not even joking. I truly believe Furuta is being truthful in that. I really think he is. I think the man is definitely doing that because he wants to screw Rize. I think so. I think he's not lying with those emotions. So, man, straight up crusty. Anyways, Kaneki had a chance of taking down Furuta and killing him, but he's like, nah, don't worry about it. It wouldn't even help if we did in the first place, because if we were to kill him, it just wouldn't achieve much in the first place. I mean, just killing the man that might be the leader is not the way to go about it. I mean, right now, there's a possibility maybe we can learn more about him and try to talk him out of whatever he's gonna do. So, I mean, Kaneki doesn't want to take out Furuta. He had a chance, but he didn't. So, yeah. Anyways, negotiations end, and we move over into the next segment. Now, this next segment is going to be rather simple. It's not going to take long for me to cover, because it's very point blank, and it's on paper, and, like, you just can easily understand it, and I kind of covered it quite well in my live reaction, so I don't need to dive really deep into it. Takehiko and Yomo have a combo in this chapter, and it's something that truly hits your heart, because these two have a really heart-to-heart conversation about humans and ghouls. Hideko is someone that is very similar to Arima. He is someone that Arima trusted. Arima really trusted this man and let him lead Squad Zero. And we know Yomo, he's had a lot of connections with humans. And we know how he feels about Arima, what happened to his, sister, his family. We know that this man has had his world destroyed by CCG or Arima. And Hirako is someone that has a connection to Arima. And these two, both having a connection to Arima, they sit down at a table and they talk with coffee. And what makes this scene so impactful was to showcase that even though these two they have very, very, very complicated history, they're able to work it out and kind of understand one another. Like, let's look at this, okay? I want to go forward and just look at what was said here. Hirako says, "We all believe in the man selected by Kisho Arima. And you all believe in Kin Kaneki. Why not just let it remain like that? Mutual understanding." That is something Kaneki has wanted to do for a very long time. He's wanted to have it to where ghouls and humans alike could, at the very least, talk with one another. And that is what's going on here. They both have a complicated history with each other, but they're able to sit down with a cup of coffee and chat and talk and understand what is going on here is for the greater good. It's like they're setting aside their differences. They don't completely accept what Arima did. Like, Yomo doesn't accept what Arima did. He doesn't like Arima. If Arima was to be right there, he'd probably try to kill him. But he understands that what Kaneki's trying to do has a way bigger purpose, a bigger message here. And so he knows that right now he just needs to believe in Kin Kaneki, and Hirako and his people need to believe in the man selected by Arima Kisho. So it's a very sad moment, but at the same time it's a happy moment because you see something that Yoshimura always wanted to see. He wanted to see humans and ghouls being able to sit down, chat, understand each other, and drink coffee. It truly is a beautiful sight to see. It's an emotional moment. It definitely is. But it's very easy to see what's going on here, the character development between these two characters and how they kind of set aside their differences for the greater good. So yeah, Yoshimura, your will lives on at the very least in this chapter. The cup of coffee. It's a good moment. It's a very good moment. So the next thing, we go into the framing, which I kind of already covered in this chapter, so I don't think I really need to dive completely into it. You know, Furuta, he's setting up a bunch of raids against different wards throughout the world. He has it where a bunch of wards are getting attacked, and everywhere across, you know, the state right now is getting wrecked. You have it to where Ward like 16 or whatever is getting attacked, Ward 22 is getting attacked, bunch of wards are getting attacked. All of CCG agents are pretty much in dire state right now to where they don't have any reinforcements. The ghouls that are attacking seem to be way stronger than Ogiri Tree. And I mean, as you can see through a couple images of the ghouls, if you look very closely, you see clown mask. You see clown, like, you know, mask, like hats and stuff on them. So you know these are people operating underneath, you know, Furuta that are attacking CCG wards. And they obviously don't know that. They think that these clowns most likely are operating under the One-Eyed King. And the way they have all this information about certain ways they, you know, the battle plans and stuff like that, they assume it can only be Heisei Sasaki, since he's someone that was very high up and someone that also had a lot of details and information about different wards. Most likely he could have leaked the different, you know, routes or battle plans that you could take towards the different, you know, wards in their buildings, because, you know, Kaneki could have had this information. And so it's like Furuta trying to place the blame on him and making Kaneki once again look like a piece of shit. And it goes back to what I said earlier. Furuta is helping Kaneki in a way, but he's helping him in his own personal way. For instance, making Kaneki into someone that is an evil bastard that maybe both sides will hate, ghouls and humans alike. And then Kaneki can be the martyr to change the world and bridge the gap. So that's kind of explains this entire segment here, which leads into the next segment to where Kaneki asks Tsukiyama for white suits. And I really like the dialogue with Tsukiyama. I talked about this in the live reaction. He's like, save anything that costs money. Because as we know, Tsukiyama, he has no more money after everything was just taken from him. So he can't buy, like, fabulous shit anymore. And, I mean, he's like, I can do anything as long as it doesn't cost money. And Kaneki's like, I just need some white suits. I definitely need some white suits. So I feel like Kaneki, he's trying to... either he's trying to make more of the white coats, like the white suits or something. He's trying to make Naki happy, or he's trying to get Naki and the people to come out and help him out or whatever. He's calling him over because we know Tsukiyama has a connection to Naki. Or there's something else going on here. Maybe he has an event he's trying to plan. Maybe Kaneki wants to dress up in freaking white coats and freaking go into a wedding plan with Furuta. Yes, I saw that comment. I saw that comment in the live reaction. I'm not blind. So, yeah, I mean, who the fuck knows? Maybe Kaneki getting the white suits for that wedding. So, yeah. That's about it when it comes to this chapter. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. And thank you for everyone that sat around and watched this video. I know you guys don't like me saying I'm sorry for making a long video, but it makes me say I want to say sorry, because, I mean, these are long videos, and I know they're long videos, and sometimes I know not many people have the attention span. No, I'm not putting you down. I'm just saying I know many people don't have the attention span to sit down and watch a 40 to 50 minute video of just a guy sitting in a chair talking. I know it's just not something that everybody would like to watch, I know. But I do appreciate everyone that does support these videos. I can't express enough how happy it makes me when I see you guys saying stuff like that, saying you really like this stuff, because it just makes me know that you guys care, you want to see more, and thank you. I truly am thankful for that. So everyone that continues to watch these videos to the very end, thank you. And you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.